Sawadee Krop from Bangkok. I'm very late in my apartment studying, and I just finished reading probably the worst paper, well, at least the worst paper I've ever read, and I read a lot. The paper is called The Future Revolution on Big Data. I don't even know why it's on big data, not off big data. And I wanted to check actually why I even did read this paper. And it's actually because of another paper. I read this paper here called How Big Data Will Change Accounting. I think this paper is quite fine, no complaints. And I came to here to this sentence where it's saying, in conjunction with this phenomena, organizations collected more data during the past 2 years than in the previous 2,000 years. Well, it's good that they have a source here. It's the source is, I don't know how that is pronounced, Sid Giliela and Venugopal, 2013. But if you read scientific papers, you often have names, international names, where you don't really know how that's pronounced. But okay, so that was the reason I wanted to see. Okay, where is that source? How do they come up with this claim? And I printed it out. I read it. Yes, and this paper is so bad that I wanted to share this. So the first thing where I realized, okay, there's maybe something very strange in this paper is, you see here on the right side, in the abstract, normally the abstract should be perfect, right? There should not be any errors. They wrote Facebook in 2 words. That's very strange, right? But okay. Then they have already realized that they have really strange pictures for a paper, for a scientific paper. I mean, look at this. This more looks like a PowerPoint presentation at school, where you have a building, with the webcam and so on. So very strange. And actually, this source I wanted to search for was the 2,000 years. I don't know if I can find this, but they have a lot of other sources or claims which are, well, they don't list where that information is coming from. So we start here. So they say unstructured information is 90% of big data. That is a claim where I would really like to know where that information is coming from, but they don't say it. And also, if you read this sentence here, unstructured information is 90% of big data and is human information, like the blah, 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 blah. What kind of sentence, what kind of English is this? It's already, I would not say that my English is really good, but this is really, really bad, I think. There are a lot of examples in this paper where the English is questionable. So the next thing we have here, source again, by some estimates. Of course, I would like to know who make any estimates. Some. What kind of, how precise is this, please? Thank you. 80% of all organizations' data is non-numeric. They say that, but they don't say where that information is coming from. The next thing we have on this one, and I really have no clue how to read this, because this English is, again, very strange. Nearly half rated managing data growth as extremely challenging when managing their company's business intelligence. What kind of English is this? 41% rated integrating business intelligence tools as extremely challenging, and 40% rated the need for tools to analyze data and glean insight as extremely challenging. Again, there are 2 numbers here, 41% and 40%. I don't know where that information is coming from. The next thing, big data is messing. Big data practitioners consistently report that 80% of the effort involved in dealing with data is cleaning it up in the first place. No source. 2020, 40% of all data in the world will be M2M. That's machine-to-machine data, Internet of Things. No clue where that information is coming from. Next thing, every day we create 2.5 quintillion, I don't know what kind of yeah, what exactly, how much that is. Bytes of data, much of it unstructured, much of it, that is very precise. Much of it, what is that, much? 20%, 90%? No source again. Then the next thing here, 50 billion. These large opportunities, blah, blah, blah. Whereas 50 billion in 2017, up from 5 billion today in products, services likely to represent another 40% of that figure. Source, I have no clue. Then you see this beautiful picture, I think. That looks really scientific. It's an absolute horror of this paper. It's full of mistakes. The English is terrible, and then they claim all kinds of stuff where they don't prove the source, or they don't say anything about sources. And then at the end, it's getting even worse. This complete part of here 7.3, it's just for me not understandable at all. 7.3 big data impact on data warehousing. I work in data warehousing, so I hope, there is a likelihood that I understand it, or I should understand it. But then, they say the big data movement has taken the information technology world by storm. Okay, I understand this sentence. Fueled by open source projects emanating from the Apache Foundation. I don't even know what that is exactly. I have to search for that. The big data movement offers a cost-effective way for organizations to process and then there's a big open space here. What happened there? And store, and the S is written in a big letter for whatever reason. Large, I think that's auto, like in Word that I'm sorry, my memory card just stopped again. It's the second time I had this problem. So we were stopping here with these open spaces here, and so they have a sentence here at the end: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. And then there's no double point here, and I don't know, what the rest is meaning here. Despite problems, big data makes it huge. The first thing, I don't know what it means. Is it referring to type of data or volumes or whatever? And then the huge, why is it in big letters? I have no clue. Then the next thing, 2 markets for big data. Comparing value propositions. I have no clue what that means. The second thing is that one market, and categorizing big data processing systems is the second one, probably. I have no clue. And then they say something about the new analytical ecosystem making way for big data. Yeah, I have no clue. And then the next thing here we have conclusions. There's no question that there's enough data available that traditional database management systems will be defeated. Shouldn't that be defeated completely? Moving forward with big data systems. Yeah, in this sense, moving forward with big data systems, and that the best way is to start small and prove the benefits. That is not a complete sentence. Isn't there something missing here? Moving forward with big data systems, and that the best way is to start small and prove benefits. Incomplete sentence. The whole paper is somehow incomplete. And then we come to the references. Yeah, and I realized here these Latin numbers. I had to learn them as a kid, right? And I have here. So this is 8 conclusions. This is 11. So where are the rest of the chapters? I have no clue. I think the one has just been put wrong. It should be in front of the 10. Okay, but then they have the references here, and the first thing I realized that they don't use the same structure. You should have always the same systematic throughout your paper, and if you have a reference here till you see, and then you have the year here, right? But here the year is at the end, so that's already the first thing. It's just not a good way to work. Then they have here some underline in the text. Did they just copy that wrong or what? I have no clue. And then I've never ever seen something like that. So they have a reference here of Google. Yeah, I mean you can find everything in Google, right? So that's always a good reference. Then you see here they always have these how do you call it? These in front of your text. So what is this? Why do you use this? Then the thing is, of course, I mean this with the sources which are not in the text. Probably I find this somewhere here. I don't know. I will not read that for sure. But it should be, if you have something, I want to know in the text, where is that coming from? So everything you put in here should be somewhere in the text, and it's not even one of those 14 points. Of these 14 references, not even one is listed in the text. So, and of course, would like to know what kind of information you can get from Google, right? And that journal, I mean, one thing is absolutely clear for me. I will never ever in my life read anything from this journal anymore. If you make it possible that you can actually get this paper online, which is for sure not completed and terribly written. I mean, also the English, if you, of course, I know that they are not native English speakers, but then they should check it with somebody who is native and fluent or whatever. But the journal, they should never, upload this. And that journal is called themselves International, and they also call themselves for Advanced Research. Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, I don't want to insult anyone here, but the people who wrote this, they call themselves professor, and in the text they often write I did this or whatever, but these are written by 3 people. I have no clue. Professors. I guess you can get a professor in India very fast. If that is the standard, it's terrible. I think even for an essay at the university of a student, that would be really bad quality. But yeah, I mean, I don't need to read something from that journal anymore. But of course, it's also not a good, sign for this paper actually, that they quote something from there. Often I think that in papers they just want to say something and then they search for any paper claiming something. Probably they didn't even read this one, because then they would know that this is, it's not worth the paper written on it, in my opinion. Yeah, that's just I want to share with you the worst paper ever.